Hi my dear readers, this is Simona Rich, and in this video I'm going to talk about why never in my life did I ever want to have children. Not everyone wants to have children, and unfortunately some women feel pressured to have children. And I remember when I was reading the book by Sarah, I think her full name was Sarah Gilbert. It was a very famous book. I forgot the title of it. It was about her going to Bali and that changing her life. And she said that every before sleep or in the morning she would be so stressed because she was thinking maybe she got pregnant, and this totally made her stressed because not everyone is supposed to be a mother. Some people don't have that in them. Like some women, when they see children, they start touching them, they think they're so cute and they become completely different in front of children. And for me, when I see children, they're like other beings. I don't feel that in me. And just the thought that a child is growing in my stomach, it just doesn't feel right. I don't know. I don't have that in me. Even my palm shows that I'm not supposed to have children. You may know that I'm also doing palm reading in one of the assessments, now in two of the assessments, because I just introduced advanced life assessment, and also I do palm reading in comprehensive life assessment. And if your first reset is the horizontal line just below your palm, so if your active hand is the right one, and if you see that you have a raised reset on your hand, it means that you might even die during childbirth. It might be like you would get complications, your health might be ruined after childbirth, or as I said, you might die during the childbirth. So actually for me it would even be dangerous, and maybe that's why I just don't feel that I'm supposed to have children. And for me, my work is my child. I don't feel incomplete. I'm now 33. I don't feel incomplete not having children. I never wanted to have children, and when I work, I feel I'm so productive, and I love when I receive emails when people tell that I've changed their lives. There is a client that is my regular client who actually became a millionaire because of me, and now he's still my regular client. So when I receive these emails that I changed lives of people, that is the work that I'm doing. This is like my child, this creativity, this work, and this makes me feel fulfilled. And for some women, this fulfillment comes when they have children. But unfortunately, I also see that so many women have children for wrong reasons. For example, I know a woman who had a child because she felt lonely. So is that a reason? Loneliness, is that a reason to have a child? It's such a selfish reason in my opinion. So I believe that many people have children for wrong reasons, or because they're pressured by the society, and then they're just miserable. That lifestyle is not for them. And I see that especially in India, but in the West also this is happening. But in India, the pressure to have a child is huge. Every single mother will tell that as soon as they get married, everyone is asking when the first child is coming. Everyone is asking, and they're pressuring them. And I had a dance teacher. She was such a rebel, very different from the traditional Indian housewife. She married someone she loved despite of the threats of her parents, and she had a child. She wanted to have a child, but she still kept her figure. She looks beautiful, and actually she would receive negative comments from neighbors wondering why she is not gaining weight after she has given birth to a child. So it's so strange, but in Indian society, a woman after giving birth is expected, especially in like in middle class traditional families, not the rich ones follow the trends of the West, but they are basically expected to become fat after childbirth, and if they don't, then people actually talk behind their backs about why this is happening. It's just so strange. But in the West also, many women feel that they have to have a child, and because it's accepted to have a child, and so I believe that many of them have the child because of that pressure from the society. And when you actually know the statistics, like 1 in 4 women have traumatic birth and they experience postnatal depression. Some actually want to harm their children. It just shows for me that people are not in touch with what they really are, with who they are, with what they want from life. They don't know what they are supposed to do. They just follow the trends of the society. So for me, I know, you can just imagine what would happen if you would have a child, and would that stress you out? It's always important to, before embarking on anything so serious, to think through it and to just visualize what it would be like if you would have children, but just very carefully, from getting pregnant, and then research what it's like to get pregnant, to give birth, and then you visualize how would you react, would you actually like it. And for me, from the first step of becoming pregnant, that would be highly traumatic. Like, for me, it would be traumatic. I would not want to experience anything like this. Births can be really traumatic. Doctors can be so unfeeling, and it's just, women can be scarred for life after giving birth. And it's just, if you could just listen to the videos of women giving birth in a traumatic way, that's a horror story. I mean, it's a horror story. So would I be willing to make such an investment? No, because I already have children in the form of work. My articles are my children, my books are my children, my services are my children. I'm producing them, I'm giving birth to them, and I'm happy about it. So for me, that would be too much of an investment, also considering the fact that once you give birth, you will probably lose around many years of, maybe 10 years of youth, a lot of your strength, because you're giving everything to the child. You're giving, the child feeds off you, you give everything to the child, and then you're investing around 18 years of your life to bring him or her up. So that time is no longer your own. It belongs to the child. So are you willing to make such investment? So for me, it's just, the answer is no. And this makes me remember of what Oprah said, that when she was raped and she gave birth to the child, and the child died after, I think, several days, she never felt anything towards the child. And that's what I'm reading, because I'm interested in these things, that some women, they give birth and they don't feel anything, and they think, is that all worth it? But later, usually love develops. But that's what Oprah said. She never felt like it's her child, it's just some being. And that makes me also think that you never know what you're bringing forth in this world, into this world. You cannot decide on the personality of the child. So it's a big risk for me, the way that I see it. So when I consider all these things, and the fact that I don't feel any particular attraction to children, when they're in front of me, I get kind of, I don't know how to react. It's very funny. For me, I react better to pets than to children when they're, I don't know why, but when they're in front of me, I'm like, Sometimes I don't know how to react to them, and I can only speak to them as I speak with adults. I can't make those with the baby voices and so forth. It's just not for me. I can't do this. And I see that some women, even if they don't have children, they naturally go to that mother role, and they can speak to other children in a way that, people speak to children and I can't do this. So I think that if women would really think about what they want rather than thinking about what the society wants of them, I believe that there would be fewer women giving birth. And parenting is such a difficult work. You basically are responsible for forming the mentality, the behavior, to a large extent, of another being. That's a huge responsibility. So, do you know how to do it? Do you know how to cause the healthy development of a child? This is a huge responsibility, and many parents, they just follow this culture of giving birth to children, but they're really bad parents, and they cause such huge trauma in children by neglecting, by abusing them, and then an unhealthy adult is formed who causes great damage to others. So I see that many, especially parents who have more children, they're just not thinking about these things. They just follow this culture of having children. And then many unhealthy adults grow up, and we see what's happening in the society, how much violence people are causing, and most of them do so because they grew up in dysfunctional families. So it's such a huge responsibility. Do you really know how to bring up a healthy person, a healthy individual, how to help them form? Like for me, even if I would want children, that would take so much study to really know how to make sure that the child grows up mentally healthy and of course physically healthy also. And also considering the fact that the situation in our society is so terrible, so many people are cruel, and do I want to bring forth someone into this world? No, I don't want my child to be bullied and, to be considered as an outcast, because I would never put them through stupid education that dumps people down and makes them employees rather than creative and being able to become self-employed. I was very stubborn, so that did not impact me much, but how do I know what kind of child I would bring forth? Maybe he would be very, pliable, and then everything would affect the environment, would affect the child, people would inflict harm, and that would cause deep traumas. It's just, for me, it's just not worth the risk. And again, I never wanted to have children. So before taking such a step, I think it's very important to consider whether you really are ready and whether you really want a child. And I think you should never allow yourself to be pressured by a husband or the society into doing this, because this is a huge investment, huge responsibility. So these are my thoughts on having children. I hope it was useful for some of you. Thank you for watching. Take care.